Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Hey, Primal Tech peeps. Welcome back to the Primal Tech Files. I'm Lilith.
And I'm Ricky.
Up for discussion today is episode 115, Run! It has an exclamation mark. Meanwhile, Nothing to Hide didn't have a question mark. But I digress. Would you like to fill them in on what happened with the synopsis?
Matt and Jessica's new jobs bring them together. Mohinder tries to contact evolved humans from the list. Sylar resumes his efforts to collect new powers. As Sandra Bennett's health declines, Claire seeks a connection with her birth parents. Nathan travels to Texas to see Meredith. Hero and Ando attempt to help a showgirl in Las Vegas.
They missed an opportunity to say, find hope. So we got some new stuff in the story development front. We got Hope, Hope's bag. We beat St. Taylor in his weird melting ability.
Yeah.
Nathan's bride money, and then the diamond. Start this episode off with Nathan receiving a call from Meredith, and she's like, "Yeah, I found our daughter." And Nathan's like, "Dude, it's been 14 years, and I went to your funeral." Meredith's like, yeah, well, it wasn't an accident. I kind of did that to throw people off my scent." So she's all like, "So I hear you're running for Congress. How about some money?" And Nathan's like, "Yeah, here's $100,000. Shut the hell up and leave me alone."
She does it so nicely. Like, she's like not like going out there saying, "I want your money." She kind of just like has a conversation, and then Nathan just kind of suggests it, like, with just this is coming at quite an awkward time, isn't it? How much money do you want? And she's just like,
You just throws out $100,000. She was probably only thinking like 30 or 50.
and she's not even like, "No, I want more." And the whole time he's thinking, "I should have gone in lower." Oh no. I just think because the episode before, she kind of seems really nice, and she, there's kind of something a bit odd or not sinister, but like there's something off about her, because obviously she went on the run. She said, "I've gone traveling. I've like gone all over the place," after like she died, in quote unquote commas, air quotes, and but then this episode just like turned her from like sweet innocent trailer park trash, to just like this kind of this nicely evil woman who just I kind of want some money from you. But it doesn't make her bad. It kind of makes her just human, I guess. And yeah, just like Nathan, they're both that kind of morally grey character, which is really good.
So then we cut to Sandra and Noah coming home, and Claire's like, "Are you okay?" And Mr. Bennett's like, "Yeah, she just needs some rest." And Claire's like, he tells her about the appointment with the neurologist, and Claire's like, "So, aside from those headaches, did you tell him she's having memory loss, Dad?" And he's like, "I'm handling the situation." And then Sandra's like, "Don't worry, Claire." And I'm like, "You're too good for Noah at this point, Mama Bennett."
She's all blank stares. It was really weird, like watching it, just like blankly staring off into space whilst stroking Mr. Muggles, and just like totally straight-laced, but like, she's like, "We're not worried, are we, Mr. Muggles?" "No, we're not." She just does.
When she talks to the dog, it's the best, because I know so many old ladies like that. Then we cut to Jessica, who's covering up the symbol on her back with makeup and doing a shoddy job of it. And Nikki's all like, "You won't be able to fool DL." I was like, "Oh, no. She'll be able to fool DL, but she ain't going to fool Micah. That's what you should have said." And Nikki's like, "Well, basically he's a horn dog and he won't notice."
And he didn't.
He really didn't. And then we cut to, and I found this kind of an odd transition until I thought about like what happens later on in the episode, because then we cut to Janice, who's looking at Matt, and he's suiting up for a day of personal protection.
Yeah, don't call him a bodyguard.
Yeah, because he didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Micah, who's asking DL and Jessica if they're ever going to talk about their powers. He's like, we should be out fighting crime. And I'm like, ABC Family had a show like that. No Ordinary. Maybe that's where they got this idea. Maybe you should sue Micah. And then DL's like, yeah, there's a package for you. And I'm like, you don't find that suspicious? What would you ever need to get a package for? But okay. It reveals that she stole a large amount of money from Mr. Lindemann, Mowski, and now they want him dead. And so it's the picture of him. And so Matt picks up Mowski from the airport. And he's like, yeah, I hope he knows how to use a gun. That's what you want to hear on your first day of work.
I like the sign was used. The sign that he used to pick him up was the hero's font, wasn't it? I'm sure, or maybe I just picked up on that.
Was it?
I think it was. It looked kind of that weird, kind of jaggedy, kind of block capital.
Oh God! So then we cut to Hero and Ando, who are back at the Montecito Casino, and they're walking through the kitchen. And
side quests.
Yes, exactly. I don't want to talk about this damn sword. And Hero's like, no. We're going to get the sword. We're gonna find a way to get to Mr. Lindemann. And he's like, a hero must have hope. And then Ando's like, how are we going to get to the office? Then there's like, they hear a woman crying in the kitchen. And I use this in air quotes, attractive. And they're like, can we do anything? And she's like, yeah, my name is Hope. And I need you to get her bag for me. I'm like, oh, of course your name's Hope. Of course it is.
It's obviously done for a reason as it goes on in the episode, but yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from on the whole kind of side quest business about Hero. I'm kind of seeing it now.
That sword causes a lot of unnecessary drama. But
I do like Ando's reasonings. Ando's really good at like talking Hero around into doing things. He's like, you're giving me my own advice. I can't exactly say no.
Exactly. So I like Ando on that front, but his penis needs to be tamed. That's all that I'm saying. Anyway, Matt makes small talk and not with Mowski, and Mowski's just not having it. And then he's like, Matt hears his thoughts, and he's just like, oh no. But then I feel like he suddenly thinks, like, just for a quick second, well, if I get shot on the job, maybe I won't have to go home to Janice.
That's what you.
Or maybe that's just what I was thinking. Anyway, then we cut to Mohinder, who's like calling people on the list, and they all hang up on him.
Of course, rightly so.
Crazy, I'll give you that. And I guarantee if it was a few ladies that actually saw him, they'd be like, okay, sure. But anyway, he's playing a message on his answer machine. He gets a call from Zane Taylor, who's concerned about his new abilities and wants Mohinder to meet with him. Then kind of we cut to the dressing room in the casino where Hope tells them her BS story about her abusive boyfriend and how she likes him, but she just wants her bag. Ando's like, we'll help you. And Hero's like, come again now? What? And then he's like, you told me to find Hope. This is a sign. Hero's like, I'm pretty sure it's a coincidence. He's like, why is it every time we want to do something, it's our destiny? But anytime I want to do something, it's a waste of time. And then they like start talking about Mr. Lindemann, and Hope's like, did you just say Mr. Lindemann? I could help you meet him. And then it's done.
That's when Hero's in. Yep, Hero's done.
Hero and Linderman is like Audrey and Sylar. You just say Linderman and you got him. So in order to get past the security, Ando has to dress up as a hotel employee, and he's pushing the food cart, but then like Hero's underneath the cart.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on? So it's really funny. He's like, room service, and the guy's like, I didn't order it. And Ando's like, complimentary.
High roller.
Oh my god, it was so funny. So they're looking around for stuff, and then Ando basically, they find like a gun, and then like Hero gets nervous, and so Ando's like, yeah, I'm right okay, let's leave. I'm right behind you, and closes the door on him.
Yeah.
Hides under the bed. Oh, they're the comedy relief, like nobody's business, those two.
I like this. There's one bit where he closes the door on Hero, and then Hero's like, Ando! And he turns around to the door and he just shushes the door instead of... Because obviously Hero can't see it, but he's like, no, Still be quiet. Still be quiet.
So we cut to Zane Taylor, who's like all edgy and nervous, waiting for Mohinder to arrive. The doorbell rings, but it ain't Mohinder. It's Sylar. Who says his name is Dr. Suresh? And I'm just like, you deserve whatever you get at this point. So he shows him the power, and Sylar's like, yeah, I don't know what I'll ever need it for, but I'm gonna take it anyway.
No, yeah, I don't. It's just a pretty useless power, but I don't know why he needs it. Maybe he just wants to collect things.
He thinks it's Pokemon. He's got to collect them all. So then we see Nathan and his mother discussing the situation about his mysteriously undead baby's mama. And he's like, I'm going to go to Texas and take care of it. And Angela's like, you think that's a good idea? Yeah. He's like, I owe Meredith and Claire, he owes them that, and not just a phone call. So Angela calls him a straight-up glorified sperm donor, and I'm like, damn, Mama Petrelli.
Yeah, she gets so cold in this episode, like...
Well, we learn later why, but I thought that this was good.
This is her at her best when she's just cold, and I like it. Like, it's too swift to change, but at the same time, it is a good change, because this is the Mama Petrelli I think we all know and love.
Really, it is. So then we cut to Claire. See what you did there. Sitting in her bed looking at the necklace Meredith gave her. And then in comes Noah. And she's like, how's Mom? And he's like, she's resting. And then he's like, I know you cut school. And she's like, we went to the aquarium. And he's like, oh, did you really? So he's like, I don't want to know what you did, but guess what? You're grounded again. Because that always works out so well with teenagers.
Well, you know what happened the last time she got grounded. She nearly got killed. So he thinks, why not?
Yeah, so anyway, Claire kind of throws a hissy fit. And she goes, you're not my real father. And he's like, well, I'm the only father you got. And I'm like, not wrong. I wouldn't be Nathan as my dad. And we find out in a big way what a just complete, utter waste of a parent Nathan is. More on that later. Claire calls Meredith and she's like, I want to know about my dad. And she's like, well, I found him and he's coming.
But you're not allowed to come.
Exactly. And she's like, but, I'll ask him and see what he says. And then we see Jessica kind of waiting on Mousy, and Matt's kind of escorting Mousy into the building. And I love when Jessica's in full kill mode, because she's a cool customer, man. She's just waiting by the tree. She's just scoping everything out. And I'm like, pull out the gun, because that's all you're good for, Jessica. And so they're like looking at the money and the diamonds, and then they kind of Matt hears the guy's thoughts about Linderman's guy and how they won't get out alive, and so it's like, we gotta leave immediately. And he's like, who's Linderman? Aaron's like, how do you know that name? He's like, it doesn't matter, somebody wants to kill you, we gotta go.
He starts asking questions and answering them himself. I love that bit about Matt Parkman when he's like asking them a question, then straight away like they think of the answer. It's like, oh, you stole the money. Oh well, yeah, let's carry on then.
I know. And he's like, so Matt hears Jessica coming in the elevator, and he points a gun at the elevator door. But when the elevator door opens, Matt and Aaron are gone. So
the sound on that, the actual sound was really bad on that, because it was just like straight cuts between the two kind of music, the elevator music, and the weird kind of Indian music they had in the background for Matt Parkman's story there.
They love that Indian music, don't they?
Yeah. For like random people who aren't Mohinder. But yeah, at least, they're not showing any racism. It's just music. But yeah, the cuts between them are just like, because the one's like really slow paced and kind of just one tone, and the other one's like got loads of layers to it. And they're just straight like smash cuts in between each other. It's really perturbing, but yeah.
Then we cut to Hero in the dressing room, who's kind of like in a rack of clothing, and he kind of hears Hope talking about these two quote-unquote Chinese guys and how sweet they are, and how she's going to take a bus and meet them in Prim. And Hero's like, you know what? He loses his balance, falls through the rack, and she's like, oh yeah, it's just on the phone with my mom. And he's like, I heard you, and we are Japanese, not Chinese. Like, you tell her, Hero, you tell her. And she's like, well, where's the bag? And he's like, you're a bad person. You may have fooled Ando, but you're not going to fool me. And in the like most just racist thing that Hero's ever done, she calls him Sulu and punches him in the face. Now, It's funny because of who his dad actually is in the TV show, but at the same time, I was just like, really? Okay, Hero. You get this one mulligan. That's all you get.
But he shows once again he can take a really good punch.
So we see Mousy and Matt running down the stairs trying to escape, and he's like, Mousy has to stop to use his inhaler, and I'm like, who are you, Steve Urkel? Like, what? Come on. So anyway, Jessica's heading down the stairs, and then she sees Nikki in the reflection. Judgy Nikki. And she's like, stop! But Jessica won't listen, and she's like, dude, this is my life. You can't do this to me. And Matt, like, hears Nikki and Jessica, and Jessica, like, she's like, I'm doing this to repay Mr. Linderman for getting you out of jail. And Matt calls the police and asks for backup. And Jessica shoots at Matt and Mousy and misses. But then Matt, like, returns fire, and Mousy gets away. And then, like, Jessica sees the stairwell door close and enters the stairwell, and then Matt kind of, like, handcuffs her to the railing. And he's like, where's Nikki? And she's like, you heard Nikki? And she's like, interesting, I can use this. She's probably out there killing Mousy right now. So he leaves and then finds him in a room, and he hears him, in retrospect, is what he was doing was trying to remember the spot where he left the diamonds, because he thought he could actually get out of this alive.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jessica shows up behind him and throws Matt out of a window.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing this. I remember this the first time and being like, oh,
did somebody actually die on Heroes?
Yeah, I know, right? Did someone like who's a main character actually die? Not like someone that I actually cared about, like Eden. But yeah, I was like, oh man, he's dead. And then they did the reveal of him like being on the ledge, and I was just like, just groaning. Like I was, as much as I like Parkman, I think it was he gets better as it goes along, but he is kind of
at this point we could have lost him in it.
Yeah, he's the male version of the Sanders family at this point in time. Him and but at least.
Well, no, the reason why it's so bad is that it's him and Nikki converging onto one. Well, and Jessica is converging on one spot, and it's just too much.
The negativity, it's like the two minuses kind of cancel each other out, and one of them has to go. But he carried on. He survived. Lucky for him, I guess.
I mean, honestly, though, looking back, they really, and not that I had a problem with it, because I really do love Greg Grunberg, but they really stretched this character's use out to the max.
There's only so many times you can stamp on him. And, you know, every time they do it all the time with him.
So Claire arrives at Meredith's house. Like, what was the excuse she used to get out of the house, I wonder? I mean, Kermit's kind of far from Odessa, just saying. But anyway, she and Meredith kind of take a walk, and she's like, you know, my mom's sick, and, you know, hey, can my father, he has money, can he help me? And she's like, the help? All I was talking about was money, and he's going to give me $50,000, and you can have half of that $50,000. This is when you just know she's a complete and utter dirtbag.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want the money. And she's like, well, I'm going to go back to Mexico, so we won't see each other for a while. But let me take a picture with you.
And then she just gives a stink face.
No, it's what Peter calls that sad little smile.
Oh, yeah.
Then we cut back to Matt, who climbs back in the window and finds Mousy snapped in half. And then the police arrive, and Matt's like, I'm on the job. And I'm like, yeah, what a job you've done. And then we see Mohinder shows up, and instead of Zane, it's Sylar pretending to be Zane. And he's like, you want to see my new ability? Oh my god, that was so funny. So Sylar is like, he's like, you want some tea? And I'm like, dude, who puts on a dead man's clothes?
Yeah.
Sylar has on the Ramones t-shirt. I'm like, that's so gross.
And how do they fit so well? Because Zane Taylor is...
Zane was a little chubby, son. Mohinder's like, you seem calmer. And Sylar's like, I had an epiphany. It was like seeing pieces of a puzzle fit together. And I'm like, Sylar, that's too much you showing through.
No, right.
And he tells Mohinder that, you know, at first I wanted to deny it, but there's no shame in having an ability. And Sylar's like, he melts the toaster. And Mohinder's like,
Let's see it again.
No, I was just like, you're making your father's mistake. Anyway, Nathan arrives at Meredith's trailer. He apologizes for how things turned out. And Meredith's just like, give me the money. And then he asks where Claire is. And she's like, you just missed her. But Claire's like being a little creeper. And she's listening to the conversation.
Yeah.
And so she goes, she thought you were going to rescue her from her life. But you're no good at that. You don't do that for anybody. I'm just like, well, she's not wrong. Nathan is kind of a selfish, self-centered little jerk when he wants to be. So. She offers to call Claire to get her to return, but Nathan's like, nah, that's okay. Gets in his car and leaves, and then Claire throws the biggest rock at his rear window.
I don't know. I felt kind of sorry for Nathan here because he's kind of stuck between a well-placed rocket windshield and a hard place because obviously I think he actually wants to see Claire at this point, but his mother's words are still kind of stinging at him. So, he doesn't want to be what does she call him, an emotional sap. So when Meredith offers to show the picture, he's like, no, I don't want to see it because he knows. I think he knows that. Yeah, as soon as he looks at it, he's going to be like, yeah, I really want to talk to her. But I think it's that scene, apart from Claire being a creeper and just seeing her reactions to everything, because, I don't really care about Claire too much at this point in time. Apart from that, I think it's a really good scene. And it kind of gives you an intriguing insight into all three characters, into, I don't know what we would call them, but they're a lot better family, quote unquote, than Sanders is, because they're a bit more intriguing than the Sanders is. But yeah.
I agree, actually, but it's just like the Micah situation though. Both your parents are dirtbags.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Imagine if Micah had been the kid who came out of, the character of Micah had been the kid who had come out from Meredith and Nathan. That would have been so much better. That would have been great. Not Claire, but anyway, yeah.
That would have been fun. I don't know, I just felt really sorry for Claire for these last 3 episodes. It's just awful.
But they've kind of been giving her the kind of downward trajectory ever since she's kind of getting the Sanders' treatment of just depression ever since the Save the World's ever since the Save the Cheerleader happened.
But we get a little kind of more laughing, haha fun with Ando as he finds Hope, gives her the bag, and she's like, hey, come with me, but because I need a ride to my quote-unquote mom's house in Prim. Where's Hero? And she's like, oh, he left. I introduced him to some guy who would introduce him to Mr. Linderman, and Ando's all hurt. He didn't wait for me.
Yep.
She's like, you don't need him anymore. And just as a confused Ando's about to ask some questions, she kisses him.
And that's when he's invested.
Oh, Ando, baby doll, you need to get laid for real. Maybe that will help. Trapped in the closet, Hero tries to, break the door down. And then, he hears a noise, and he thinks it's Ando coming to find him. And he starts screaming on about Hope is dangerous. And then the man from the hotel room, it's him. And he's like, I'm a member of the State Gaming Commission. And he's like, Hero's like, I come in peace. Then we see Matt speaking to a detective at the scene of Mowski's murder. He explains that he heard 2 people talking. And then he says that Jessica was strong enough to break his handcuffs.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, dear God, Matt, just save yourself the trouble. Detective asks Matt if he knows where the diamonds are, and Matt's like, no. But then it clicks, and he's like, oh, they're in the ceiling panel. And so he goes to give the bag to the diamonds, but then he hears the detective
just bad-mouthing him, right?
Yeah, again. That's the only thing that sucks about reading people's minds, as far as I'm concerned, is really hearing what people think about you.
Yeah, but it's also him. He's trying to do the good thing and be like, oh, look, I found the diamonds. Here they are. But it's just him giving in to temptation and the whole kind of being put down by other people again. So he kind of just sticks with the diamonds in his pockets because he thinks, this is the best he's going to get. He'd rather look after his family at this point. At this point, he's trying to look after his family rather than become a police officer again. I think, anyway.
I would have done the same damn thing, even if they didn't badmouth
I know.
I still make a lot of money. It's a hard job that's easy to get with very little pay.
But that's the thing about most apartments. Most apartments' storylines are stuff that the quote-unquote working man can relate to, because they're always they're not that fantastical as Peter's storylines and stuff like that. So yeah, it's that kind of, just stealing and trying to just be a good person that's probably one of the reasons why he stuck around for so long, because he was just so much more of a relatable character than some of the others. He felt like a real complex person as opposed to some of the other characters.
That's what, I told you, that's why I've always kind of had a soft spot for Matt. And I think that Greg Grunberg was just the perfect casting because he is very much the everyday guy.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So anyway, Claire returns home and she sees her mom, who's it's like a pot of boiling water, and she's yelling at Mr. Muggles, calling him a mangy thing. And Claire's like, that's your dog. And she's like, she doesn't have a dog and she doesn't know who Claire is, and I'm just like,
Oh, what's going on?
It was that weird thing that they'd done with Lyle too, only a little more subtle, where they were kind of pan out, like, what is going on? So then we cut to Jessica, who's on the phone again. She says, it's done. And then she finds out from Micah that she received another package, and then she sees a picture of Nathan, and she's like, consider it done. And I'm like, oh, you can't kill Nathan.
Well, she can't kill anyone because she couldn't even kill Matt Parkman. But yeah, anyway, sorry.
Well, she killed Malsky, so.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
I just want to see it in action. That is all that I asked this whole damn time.
That was something that Heroes was good at. It was always good at presenting you something about to happen, then doing it behind closed doors. They were very good with that.
Yeah, definitely. So that was the end of it. I guess it's time to talk about some grades.
I'm probably going to go with a C+. It was good, as per usual C+. Kind of, some of the storylines didn't really need to be in there, but they served a purpose in the next episode. So it's that kind of transition from something big happening the episode before to something big happening the next episode.
I just keep laughing because you keep giving it like an average grade, and I just keep remembering that the English grading scale is vastly different from the American education system. I don't know if a lot of our American listeners probably even know what I'm talking about, but just Google it.
It's funny as well because I love this show so much, but here I am giving like an average grade to like pretty much nearly every episode we've watched thus far, apart from Future Heroes showing up.
I think for me, the grade I would give it is actually just a flat C. It is very average. I was a little bored.
Yeah.
I think it had a lot to do with how Nikki / Jessica and Matt kind of collide. Like, I don't think that was a good choice. Like, we could have actually done without this storyline.
Yeah, I can see where you're going. But it had some good bits in it, like the whole...
Yeah, Claire, Nathan, and Meredith was awesome. I'd rather have just spent the whole episode with Claire.
If you're not too picky about the whole Sylar, Zane, Taylor thing, I think him joining Mohinder to kind of search out for these heroes is a really good storyline, because it kind of gives him a purpose. Like, before he was just going around trying, like, killing these people randomly, and now he's kind of not getting to know them, but he's trying to get to know himself as well, using Mohinder as like a sounding board. Yeah, I really like that. It's and it's also got that kind of parallels between Sylar and Chandra and Sylar and Mohinder, because you can see at some points, like, Mohinder looks at him and gives him that kind of odd look when he starts overtly going on about destiny and stuff like that. And yeah, I think at this point I didn't know what was going on with this memory loss. Like, I didn't know if it was because of, I assumed it was because of the constant memory wiping, but I didn't know if it was something else entirely.
I think that would have been a better twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I did like that was one of the best things that Hero did in season 1 was the Mohinder Sylar Zane team up.
Yeah.
But like, it really doesn't kind of come into effect until the next episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get over to, what do you think was like the best scene in your opinion?
I quite like the visual of the power, the whole melting thing. I quite like that, but as far as like usefulness of the power it's kind of like quite low on the scale. But yeah, how about you?
I like Creeper Claire listening in on the conversation.
Yeah.
Getting her hopes up and getting them dashed.
Oh, you just love seeing Claire in pain, don't you?
I kind of do. I might have to work on that. I mean, this is a good storyline, I think, for her, because I don't know, the story of Claire, basically, Heroes kind of does revolve around her, because Sylar is after her power, and even after he kind of gets it, it's still kind of about Claire. But at this time, it kind of makes sense. Later on, like, say, halfway through season 2 through season 4, it kind of doesn't make sense. But right now, like, they're really trying to flesh Claire out, and I appreciate it. Because they could have just left her as a bitchy blonde teenager, but they did kind of go out of their way to show that she was more than that.
Yeah.
Any dialogue stick out to you?
Not really. I did like the emotion. I like all of Angela Petrelli's lines, especially the emotional sap. She's so like harsh with with Nathan.
I like she's like, you're nothing more than a glorified sperm donor.
Yeah.
Etched into my brain with this episode. But also I like where Sylar's like talking to Sylar/Zane, and he's like, you should be careful who you talk to about this ability, Zane. There's some people who might not understand. Might want to hurt you. He's like, why would anybody want to hurt me? I don't know yet, but I do know this. There are others out there like you. And then classic Sylar, really? How many others? Dozens. And those are just the ones I know about. With more time and research, I could find hundreds, thousands. But you're the first one who returned my phone call.
Oh, yeah, the whole thing about the Mohinder and Sylar is that it kind of, well, in my eyes, on the rewatch anyway, like, it paints kind of Mohinder as, like, just in over his head with everything, because like he's like, I could there could be like hundreds, maybe thousands. Like he has no clue what he's doing. He's just doing this whole thing on the whim. Like he's just doing it. He's just winging it as he goes along. Like, he's cold calling people. He's going to like some random guy's house and just like getting this guy to join him, because he knows that if he goes to these specials, he's not going to be able to convince them that he knows them unless he's got someone with him. And he's just like doing the whole thing on the fly, and it kind of paints him as just incompetent at this point, I think. Anyway,
yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do is to give the parallels of his father and the fact that the audience knows that Zane isn't really Zane, and so that's supposed to build up this really tense storyline. When is he gonna find out? Is he gonna die? Is Sylar just gonna snap his neck in the middle of the night? Are there any moments that stick out to you that are quintessentially the episode? Like when you see a screen cap, you're like, oh, I know what episode this is.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
How about you?
It is. It's the I Come in Peace.
Mm.
I always remember that from this episode.
I do remember. I remember that, but I just don't remember where it's from. But it is an iconic scene. But screen grab. But I wouldn't be able to now I would, because obviously I've seen it. But I've seen it again. But I think if you gave me another 5 years, I probably would be like, oh yeah, that was from Heroes. But maybe season 1.
So I guess time for some trivia.
Yep, I've got. It was originally called Nothing to Lose.
I guess we couldn't have Nothing to Hide and Nothing to Lose.
Yeah. What else? The Montecito Casino. At the casino, the guys are wearing the Hero and Ando are wearing badges that bear the same logo as the NBC television series Las Vegas. There's obviously the Sulu reference. The money and aluminium case that Mulaski stole was from the robbery that Jessica and DL's crew committed.
That Ramon shirt was written into the script because apparently a producer really, he directed Rock and Roll High, which features the Ramones. And
Zane Taylor is the name of one of the writer's nephews, or the director's nephews, so...
No, it's a writer, Adam Armis. And then they were in Santa Clarita, California. That's where Meredith Gordon's actual trailer is. Oh, one more thing, though. Matt didn't dial a real phone number, not even close. It didn't start with 555, like American TV shows have to do. Because ever since that Jenny number, that 8675309, we're not allowed to do that anymore. Anyway.
Cool.
So we already talked about roadkill on accident, I guess. So we can just kind of...
You can just download the podcast before and find it. Emails. I have 1, 2... and they are quite long. One of them is anyway, so I'll see what I can do. First one is from Mary. That's at a spirit song. She literally writes about season 1 Heroes episodes 1 to 4, utterly the best. This is what I want in Heroes. Unfortunately, it was the Petrelli brothers and Mohinder that make it work. No Petrellis, no Heroes. So I don't know if she's going to be looking forward to Heroes Reborn, because we're not getting the Petrellis, are we? Joel, who is Joel MG12 on Twitter, he says he's talking about Distractions. Overall, Distractions was pretty good. Something Heroes does really well is show all the storylines without losing your attention. I like how they start off with Peter talking to the invisible guy and learning about how to use his powers. Loves the Painter, easily one of his favorite characters. The way he's able to overcome his drug addiction, lose his girlfriend, and still have a freaking awesome ability to he has to learn to access without drugs. Love the way he's able to solve something and interpret what he paints from. As for his ex-girlfriend, I can't figure out why she's mad at him. She left him for another guy. I know they were drugs, but she's easily my least favorite character. I think we're all agreeing with you on that, Joel. When Hero was talking to his father, it's obvious his sister was jealous. I love the foreshadowing of Hero's sister over the shoulder of his dad, as he mentions that he only has one real son. Pretty obvious that she is his way out. Enjoyed the conversation between Peter and Claude. It's interesting how they discussed what people are really like. Both of them have come from opposite ends of the spectrum. One hates people, the other one loves and fights for them. I love the line, everyone likes the rest of them. That's why they're the rest. Sylar reached a whole new level of creepy in this episode when he was talking about Claire to her mom, which we obviously said already. And overall, a great show.
So, I guess it looks like it's time for Ricky's favorite part. Nameless plugs and self-promotion.
You can email us any thoughts on Heroes episodes, any of our Primatech episodes, or questions about the show, or for your host at primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can listen to us on Stitcher and iTunes. Just search for Primatech Files. Remember to follow us on Stitcher and download, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. You can bookmark the site primatechfiles.libsyn.com, and you can favorite Southgate Media Group on SoundCloud. Those are all the ways to listen to our podcast. Speaking of Southgate Media Group, you can find them on iTunes for all their numerous other podcasts on TV and general popular culture, or just search them on southgatemediagroup.com to learn about the hosts and keep up to date with the podcasts and read their weekly blogs. And you can find us on our social media sites. You can find us at primatechfiles.tumblr.com. That's obviously our Tumblr, or facebook.com/primatechfiles. That is our Facebook. We live tweet 2 episodes every Saturday. Just follow Primatech Files on Twitter to find out which episodes we're going to be live tweeting. And remember to use the hashtag Primatech Files to join the conversation. This week we had the following people fave, retweet, or just join in with our live tweet. It was at dchatton86, at Larry FT Laurie, at English Idiot 101. Yes.
Hey, Charlie.
At Tinyisha, at LFTFT Sims, and at soft_guitar60. You can finally find any of my writings on quanmagazine.com, that's QUAN, and thepeoplemovies.com. And you can also find the new site that I work for called tvbinges.com. On there you can find anything to do with your binge watching needs, and you can even create your own binge to watch stuff with. And finally, you can find me on Twitter at RickyJDiaz. That's RSEKYJDIAZ, or Z if you are American.
Find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. You can find me on Tumblr at either lilithfairyhellfire.tumblr.com or superwho.junkie.tumblr.com. I think that name's pretty self-explanatory. Also, please be sure to check out my blog, littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. It's for comic book geeks and pop culture junkies alike.
Do you want to shout out your other podcasts on the Southgate Media?
Oh, Jesus, so many. Yeah, I do a ton of podcasts for Southgate Media. I do Queen Consolidated, which is for Arrow. I do Flashpoint, which is for The Flash. I do Channel 52, which is basically just a DC comic books umbrella podcast. And I also do Newcastle, which is dedicated to Constantine.
Oh, Constantine.
And coming up this summer, Dawn and I are returning to Welcome to Beacon Hills, which is a podcast dedicated to this week. Alright, well, looks like it's time to head on out, so...
Oh, download the podcast, save the world.